Welcome back. I'm Ramaa. To those of you who don't know me, this is my YouTube channel, Raise Your Vibe with Ramaa. During these presentations, I like to share some wisdom teachings, insights, and experiences that help to raise our vibe so that we can live in a way that we bring heaven down to earth. So today, I want to talk about the mind and what we think about. Scientists say that we have something like 60 to 90,000 thoughts a day. Probably those numbers will increase with so much activity going on. We are always on our phones and looking at different inputs, social media. But the point is, what do you think about all day? It was Socrates who said, an unexamined life is not worth living. And I would add, an unexamined mind is not worth having. The thoughts that come to us each day, they determine the inner climate. That inner climate determines our choices, our words, our actions. Those words and actions and choices, they impact our life. Our life impacts the lives of those who are connected to us and to those who are connected to them. So eventually, in a way that we may not always understand, just how we think and what we choose to do with our thoughts may have a far-reaching impact on our world. So let us look closely at this question. Where do these thoughts come from? Why do we think the way we do? And what are we spending our energy on all day? As far as the question, why do we think the way we do? There are so many answers to it. Psychologists might attribute it to nurture. Scientists might attribute it to genetics. We are probably thinking the same thoughts that some of our ancestors did. We inherited the grooves in their brain and now we think automatically just the way they did. Astrologers might say it depends on the location of the planets in the skies at the time of your birth, and the impact of those planets cause the thoughts that you think all day. Who is right? Probably all of them are. The mind is too vast and complicated to fit into one simple explanation. And the point is not even about where these thoughts come from. The point is, what do we do once they occur to us? The great teacher, spiritual teacher, Ramaa Maharishi, was once asked the question, what is the difference between fate and free will? Do we have any free will at all? And he answered this very complex question in a very simple way. He said, what occurs to you is fate. What you do with it is free will. What occurs to us is fate. What we choose to do with it is free will. When we talk about what occurs to us, we might only think about the events that occur to us. But at the deepest level, every moment of every day, a thought is occurring to us. And if we look at Ramana's wisdom, we can ask ourselves, if the thought that occurs to me, whether this thought is a good one or a bad one, if the thought that occurs to me is fate, what is my choice about how to deal with that thought? Because most of us think that every thought that comes to us is the truth, that we must follow through to it, we must follow through with it, we must believe it, it's real, it's true, it is who I am. But it's not. Michael Singer, the great author of The Untethered Soul, He calls this mind the inner roommate. So this inner roommate that's constantly talking to us from the minute we wake up till the minute we go to sleep, and then again, and maybe even during our sleep, this inner roommate is not who we are. We are the one observing these thoughts. Think about those people who take their pets on a walk. Sometimes you think the pet is taking them for a walk. In the same way, are we the master who is being taken for a ride by this mind, which is constantly telling us things about the world? What does our mind do? What are you thinking about all day? Have you ever paused to ask yourself, what do I think about all day? They say that, weak minds think about people and great minds think about ideas. Where in that trajectory of thinking about people and thinking about creating, where in that trajectory do we find ourselves? Do we think about people? Do we think about to-do lists? And how is this? Is this working for you? Is this a mind that uplifts you? Because in the Bhagavad Gita, which is the wisdom from Hinduism, which is really spiritual wisdom that's universally true, the wisdom teaching says, your mind can be your best friend or your worst enemy. The mind alone is the reason for bondage or for liberation, for attachment or freedom. And as we start looking at this and bringing all these wisdom teachings from the Gita, Michael Singer, Ramana Maharishi, we come back to the point of, while the thoughts occurring to us, we have no choice over, we do have a choice over how to respond to these thoughts. Do we blindly believe and follow them? Do we fight with them? Or do we understand them and sow the seeds for new thought patterns? Because our mind is our internal garden. Some of them crop up like weeds. We don't even know why they come. Some of them were planted by the person who owned this garden before us. And some of them can be now seeds that we plant. So as we start looking at how we can deal with the mind, we can think of it as a garden. And we can start taking ownership of this garden that we have here. Eliminating the thoughts that do not serve us and planting the seeds of new thought patterns. How do we do that? There are so many different techniques, and I'm going to share some of them today and some of them in future videos. One of them is through meditation. When we meditate, we start the first step, which is creating a distance between the mind and us. Realizing I am not my roommate. My roommate talks to me. I am the one who is the listener. I am the one who is the witness. Just that first principle can be attained through meditation, reinforcing that understanding, that insight over and over again through the daily practice of meditation. Another way this can be changed is through journaling. As we sit down to journal, we can ask ourselves to just keep writing whatever thoughts come to us. I have done this for years, where I sit down and without interfering, I let my mind write all its thoughts. And after spending the first 5 or 10 minutes on simply writing all my thoughts, I step back. I read what I have written and I ask myself this question. Do I want to keep thinking these thoughts? Are they uplifting me? Are they opening my mind? Are they helping me to be a better human being, to contribute to the world, making the world a better place? And if they are, And some of them are, and some of them are not. And engaging with that which my mind has just revealed, it's like going to a doctor's office and telling your doctor all your symptoms. In the same way, we examine our mind and then think, okay, these are healthy thoughts, I think I'm going to keep them. And as for the unhealthy ones, what do I do with them? I may have to sow the seeds of better thoughts. So if there are lots of thoughts that tell us, oh, I'm a loser, I'm not good at anything, I'm not useful to the world, these are not good thoughts. These do not uplift me. And I can't just believe them or fight with them. So I quietly ignore them. And I start planting new thoughts. So then my second part of my journaling is to ask myself, what would you rather think about? Or what would you think about if you didn't have this fear? If you didn't have this need? Because if I am talking about, oh, so-and-so friend did not invite me to her 50th birthday party, maybe nobody likes me. Are those thoughts you want to pursue? I don't. What would I rather think? How would I feel if I were free of the need to be invited to every party? I would feel free, I would feel good, I would be like a bird in the sky thinking, let everybody have their parties, I'm having my own party. Okay, let's write about that. So I spent the next few minutes writing the thoughts I'd rather think about. And I start writing them. I am happy. I am happy somebody else is celebrating their party even though I was not invited to it. I know I will be invited to many parties and some I will not be, and that's all right. I may not get everything I want, but I'm going to enjoy what I do have. I enjoy my life every day. I am thankful for the gifts that life has given me. I write these thoughts down and then read them. At first they seem fake, but they're not fake because they are thoughts I have chosen. And although they are new to me and therefore seem like strangers, as I read them over and over again, I befriend those thoughts. I am planting seeds of new thoughts, and slowly over a period of time, these become closer to me. And these other thoughts, by my choosing to ignore them, by my choosing not to engage with them, by my choosing not to fight them either, I start changing my mind. This is because it is not just in my imagination. Science tells us that just like we can teach ourselves, we taught ourselves how to walk, how to ride a bicycle, how to swim. In the same way, we can teach ourselves how to think. We can talk back to our thoughts and tell them we don't agree. We can and we must talk back to the thoughts that do not serve us and create new grooves in our brain where there have not been any. Changing our thoughts, we change our life. We change our choices. And in changing who we are and becoming a new version of ourselves, maybe just a little, 1 millimeter of change every week. Over 10 weeks, 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter. In this way, over a lifetime, every day committing to this job of examining the mind, discerning what we want to keep, sowing the seeds for new thoughts, watering them by reading those thoughts over and over again, and creating a new mind, we change our life, and in this way, we change our world. Ramana Maharishi again has a quote that I remind myself of every day. One of his very powerful quotes was, "Your own self-realization is the greatest thing you can do in the world." By self-realization, it does not necessarily mean that we all have to wait for nirvana someday. Self-realization could be just in that moment. In that moment, I realize that these thoughts are not who I am. In that moment, I am self-realized. and acting from out of that, choosing between fate and free will and exercising that free will, and create a new mind. And that might be the greatest contribution I make to the world, to my family. And in this way, by changing my mind, one thought, one experience, one choice, I might be doing the most powerful thing I can on the planet. So think about this and see if you can commit to being the gardener of your own mind, spending, even if it is 15 to 20 minutes every day, doing some weeding, some cultivating, some watering the plants that you want, the thoughts that you want, so that you may enjoy the fruits, the flowers of your labor, and share it with the world. So commit to this, change your mind, talk back to it, and reclaim the power of your spirit.